This video is sponsored by War Thunder, but more on that later. First, Valorant abilities. At this moment, Valorant has over 100 abilities in-game with each their unique mechanics. You can do a lot of things with all these abilities. However, my friends, the fact that you can do a lot of things with every ability doesn't mean that you should be doing everything. And that's where this video is all about, because in this video I'll go over Valorant mechanics that you shouldn't be using. I'm also gonna throw myself a little under the bus in this video, because in the past I might have said that some of these things were good tricky, but I want to set things straight with this video. Don't do these things and your games will be a lot easier. Now sit back, relax, and let's start with the first mechanic, the Killjoy boost. If there's a box in the corner somewhere on the map, you can place your Killjoy turret very close to the corner, jump on the turret and then boost yourself onto the box. On paper this looks like a pretty decent trick, right? You basically get a boost for free. So why did I suddenly change my mind and think that this is like a bad mechanic? Well, multiple reasons. The first one, this jump is actually pretty hard. Maybe if you practice it in a custom game, you might be able to get consistent jumps, but still if you don't do it a lot, getting onto the box will cost you a lot of time and you don't always have that if you want to also place down your setup. The second reason, if you finally get onto the box, where do you place your turret? I mean, you could place it next to you, right? But if you do that, the enemies will hear your turret when they push, so they will simply look at the turret and see you immediately. Usually when you get on the box, you don't have the range to place your turret on the other side, so you're basically wasting your turret ability. But everything I said before isn't the main reason why I don't like this mechanic. The biggest reason is why even bother, because you could simply ask a teammate to boost you. That's way faster, you could place the turret where you want and you literally have the same effect. So stop boosting yourself with your turrets onto boxes. Instead, simply ask a teammate to do it. Easy peasy. And about boosting yourself onto boxes, this next mechanic is also a bullshit mechanic, at least in some cases, and I'm talking about the ultimate boosts. If you jump while using some ultimates in Valorant, you get a little more height than usual, and this makes you be able to jump onto higher boxes. And don't get me wrong, this mechanic is actually pretty decent for some agents. Two examples are Waylay and Breach. If you use this mechanic with these agents, you can go for some quick kills. Let's go! However, the other agents, why even bother? If you want to boost yourself onto a box with Deadlock, you need to aim on the ground and then jump on the box with your ultimate. But when you do this, you basically completely waste your ultimate ability, and I think it's way better to just aim on the enemy, right? With Sofa, same story. If you use the third pulse of your ultimate downwards, you can boost yourself on even higher boxes, but I bet that like 98% of the time, it's better to simply just shoot on an enemy and hope you get a hit like that. And about ultimates, the jump mechanic isn't the only ultimate mechanic that you shouldn't be using, because another one where I never found a real good use case for is this Omen ultimate mechanic. With this ability, if you teleport next to a lever, you're able to interact with that lever and close the door. I know, it's a cool little party trick, but it stays at that, a party trick, because why would you ever use it? But MrLowlander, it's not only to close the door, but it's also to fake the enemies out. Wow, my friend, if you teleport here on the side, you close the door and teleport back, you're not faking anyone out, because enemies that are standing on the side just see that you cancel the ultimate and that you're going back to where you came from. Also, for those who think that you combine this with getting info, this is also not a thing, because if you use your ultimate next to the door over there, you can't even look all the way to the back of sight. You only spot enemies that are standing a little closer to you. So no, for info, this is also not a good ultimate trick. Literally, the only thing you do if you use this tricky is give the enemies more time to destroy the door. Conclusion, don't use the Omen ultimate to pull levers with. And if you don't agree with me, then please send a clip in the Lowlander Discord server where you use this trick in-game, and maybe if I see that clippy, I changed my mind, who knows, but at this point I wouldn't recommend it. Next thing, in this video I've talked about a lot of things that you shouldn't be doing, but now I want to talk about something that you absolutely should be doing, and that's downloading War Thunder, my friends! War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. It's available for everyone for free on PC, consoles and mobile devices. Immerse yourself in the intense combat of War Thunder with detailed vehicles, realistic graphics and real authentic sound effects. Tanks, planes, helicopters, ships. You can take command over one of the 2500 different models, ranging from old school armored cars to the fighter jets we have today. War Thunder also has a game mode for every type of player, tons of different customizations, and you don't need extra hardware, a mouse and keyboard is enough. So what I would say, join the worldwide community with over 70 million players already and delve into the world of War Thunder. There's a link for the mobile version in the video description, and also good news for the PC and console users. When you use the link in the description, you get a massive bonus pack for limited time only if you are a new or returning player that hasn't played for 6 months. And now let's continue the video. The next mechanic we're gonna talk about is a little gray area. Of course, it's one of those mechanics that you shouldn't be using, but maybe sometimes it could be useful. Okay, hear me out. On Abyss, if you play Jet and you planted the spike, you could use your jump and dash with Jet all the way deep into the Abyss. If you do this, you can float for a very long time. This means that you can just float over there, and when an enemy is trying to defuse the spike, try to kill them with your ultimate, easy win, right? Well, my friends, of course, I shouldn't have to explain to you why you shouldn't be using this mechanic. It basically guarantees that you will die that round, and it's way safer to simply just play from the side. However, my friends, the reason why I said at the start that this might be a gray area is that some professional players actually use this trick. Just take a look at Smoggy from Team EDG. What are you doing, Smoggy? But wow, it worked, so I don't know. I'm still a believer that you shouldn't be using this mechanic, even though some pro players use it. But let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Is this a good trick or a bad trick? For this next mechanic, I definitely do know that you shouldn't be using it. And it's also about Jet. A few months ago, when Waylay got released, I said in the tips and tricks video that you could use your hinder on a teammate Jet. And if you do that, the Jet can float for a very long time. If you combine this with the Jet ultimate, she basically can get a lot of airtime while being accurate in her ultimate. On paper, cool, tricky, but reality, this is just a party trick. I don't think I have to go in detail why this trick is bad. It's, for example, very hard to pull off since the hinder is flying straight down, so it's very hard to hit the Jet mid-air. And also, of course, most of the time you don't want to stay in the air for very long, because the longer you stay in the air, the more chance you give the enemies to shoot on you. Combine this with the fact that I've never seen someone use this trick in game. Yep, bad trick overall. Bobber break, whoop whoop whoop. Honestly, shout out to this specific Bobber fan. This guy has over 100 comments about Bobber. Appreciate the support for my cat. Okay, next mechanic. This one is unique because this mechanic used to be very good, but after the nerf it now completely lost its power. Question, who remembers the old race boombot? Back in the day, if you used the race boombot, it would stay up for 10 seconds, and because it was so long, you could check a lot of corners with it with insane lineups. However, in February of 2023, patch 6.3, Lito Games decreased the duration of the boombot from 10 seconds to only 5 seconds. This basically meant that the range got decreased by half. This also meant that a lot of lineups didn't work anymore, including the race boombot satchel combos. Yup, my friends, if you use a satchel under a race boombot, you can boost that boombot up, what in theory looks very good, but nowadays the use case of this combo is very slim. Take Heaven on Ascent for example. Before the nerf, with the combo you could boost your boombot all the way into the enemy's territory, and it would spot enemies standing on the ramp. While now, if you use the same combo, the bot doesn't even go around the corner anymore. It doesn't have the range. But my friends, the range isn't the only reason why this combo isn't strong anymore. Let's take a look at another example. If you use your boombot into garage over here and use your satchel underneath it, it will bounce over the window and check the whole of garage. Looks very strong, right? Yes, honestly, this still is a good boombot. However, why not simply do 2 steps forward and place your boombot like this? If you do it like this, you don't really get exposed to the enemy. Your boombot will travel further because you're standing a little closer, and you'll save a satchel for a double jump, for example. And I know, don't get me wrong, boombots like this are hard to dodge. But still, I don't think it's worth it. Just save that satchel for the double jump, my friends. Next mechanic. Did you know that if you place abilities underneath the Lotus door, they will most likely break? The chamber traps, the chamber teleport, deadlock barrier, sage wall, and even the vice vines, they will all break. However, there's one agent whose abilities don't break underneath the door, and those are the abilities of Killjoy. At least the sentry and the alarm bot. I have no idea why this is a feature in the game, but it just works like this. You can place a sentry over here and it won't break. So, does this mean that you should place your sentry over here? Of course not, it's a terrible spot. Same for the alarm bot. You want to use your alarm bot on a spot to get info, but if the enemies are opening the door, you already get info because the door goes like whoop. You hear it from like everywhere on the map. So no, even though you can place the Killjoy abilities underneath the door, you shouldn't do it. And then we go to a mechanic I actually gave a tip about in last video, but after thinking about it for a while, I want to retract that tip, set things straight, because this actually might not be a very good trick. Okay, here's the thing. It's about chamber. A good thing about the chamber guns is that the pull out time of those weapons is extremely fast. On top of this, if you stand still, your first bullet will always be accurate. This means that you, for example, can spray with the Vandal, mess up your whole spray pattern, then press Q and go for an accurate shot immediately. Same for the operator. You shoot with an operator shot, then you can pull out your own sniper and shoot faster than you would do the chick. So in last video I said that the cool tricky is that you should go for a shot, switch to your own pistol and go for another shot. A quick double tap, right? This is an extremely extremely cool tricky, a cool party tricky. But is it actually good? I don't think so. But this one is like, mwah, maybe. Maybe if you go for 2 body shots, this trick could actually be good. And that's why I want your opinion about this tricky. Is it a good trick or not? Let me know in the comments what you think. And also, don't forget to download War Thunder. Like I said before, if you use the link in the description, you get so many cool bonuses if you play on console or PC. And for the people that plan to download it on their mobile phone, you need something to do when you're on the toilet, right? So why not try to play a game of War Thunder then? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new and I see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.